Y'all, something funny about religion. People spend most of their entire life lying, cheating, sleeping around, manipulating people, turn everybody in their path. But as soon as they find religion, they think that everybody else is beneath them. Now they think they better than everybody. They posting Bible scriptures every 5 minutes, judging everybody else's lifestyle. Like they forgot that they used to be a hoe. Start telling people they going to hell and start acting holier than the people that they used to hang and party with. But I'm trying to understand, weren't you the same person that was doing the same exact shit that you so-called so against all of a sudden? Understand that if you have real faith, that shit should make you more humble, not more arrogant. You're not above or better than somebody just because you go to church or you believe in religion. I don't even believe in religion, but if your relationship with God make you look down on people instead of loving them, maybe you missed the whole damn point. I'm not going to even sit here and lie. Sometimes religion make y'all worse. Y'all don't even become better people. You flip through the Bible, post a couple verses on your timeline, or get the shit tatted on your arm, and all of a sudden you think you have washed away all your damn sins. You better than everybody else now. Understand that shit is performance. See, you don't want a transformation. You want a clean reputation. Changing your bio and putting I love God and all these Bible quotes do not make you a good fucking person. Bitch, you is still a hoe. You still messy. You still manipulative. You still treat people like shit. Y'all gonna realize that real change isn't loud. Real change apologizes to people. Real change understand people, have empathy towards people. You can read that shit all day long. You can post as many Bible quotes you want. Try to portray or pretend to be somebody that you're not. Inside, in your heart, in your soul, that shit doesn't lie. And that shit eventually seeks the fuck out. Real change take accountability. Real change don't have to go around and tell people how saved you are. Let's be honest, some people hide behind religion because it's easier than facing who they really are. Which is 9 times out of 10 a piece of shit. Hypocrite. See, it's easier to call everybody else a sinner than admit to the damage that you have done to others. It's easier to judge than heal. And I'm not going to clown nobody because they found religion. If you found religion and it genuinely makes you a better person, I respect that. But if you found religion just to get a superior complex about yourself, just to bash other people or make people feel like they beneath you, you didn't evolve at all, not physically, emotionally, or spiritually. Honestly, the proof is right there because every time I see a Bible quote on somebody's page, they the worst fucking person ever.
Woo!
That is facts, man.
These former hoes turn into religion, y'all.
Yeah, they become born again virgins. And the thing is, when men meet these women, the women don't say I'm a born again virgin. She just says I'm a virgin. So you're thinking how you got 3 kids by a virgin, until you try to ask more questions, and then she will say, I found Jesus. Now I'm waiting after marriage and things like that. And men are saying you didn't make your baby daddy's wait after marriage, and it's even worse if she has no kids. If she has no kids, she will just say I'm a virgin. She will claim it in Jesus' name. And you will never actually know. She will make it seem as if she has never slept around. So you, the new boyfriend, the future husband, you're thinking you found a woman who's a virgin for real.
Just had this conversation 5 hours ago. Right.
Oh my goodness.
Literally.
Do tell us
just having
about
that same conversation. I agree with what she's saying. I feel like a lot of people are being like Bible thumpers. And it's like, I will never judge someone for finding religion and all of that, but it does seem as though they try to like judge other people once they find it, knowing that they just a second ago was doing some, you know what I mean? So it's like, don't try to use religion as if you're like holier than thou all of a sudden. Like, and you're still not even really walking in faith. Like you're still doing things, you know what I mean, that aren't of God. So yeah, I was literally just having this conversation. So I actually agree with her in the video.
I agree with her too. But I don't think this is a new issue. I think this is always a lot of church women are hoes or have like a history of being hoes. And I don't think I think this has always happened. Like how many women go get bust down by the pastor? That's not nothing new, or men. That's not nothing new. I'm sorry.
And then they get out of church and come to the streets to find a man of God. You guys ever wondered why women never find men of God in church? They leave church to come out here to say, I'm looking for a man for a man who believes in God, for a religious man who reads the Bible and goes to church. Why don't you go back to church, lady, and find you a man? Let me guess, the men in church are corny to you, then they don't have swag, they don't have the aura, they don't have the confidence, they don't have the money, they're not tall enough.
But but no, I agree with her because some people do use it in like I think religion is kind of supposed to take you out of your ego to an extent. So if you start having a holier than thou complex because you go to church and you read the Bible, I do think that's weird. I do. I don't know. But I don't think this is anything that women are just starting to do. I think a lot of women are like that. And a lot of women are who go to church and they do. They be hoes. They'll go out Saturday night, get bust down, then they worshiping Sunday, thinking their sins is washed away. So
They are.
just don't
as
let
long
it
as they-
change you
as long
and
as
make
they
you a
ask for
worse
forgiveness.
person. I do agree with her. And we don't care that you found God.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah,
No,
let
we
them people
don't.
be
I don't
holy
care.
either
I
way.
don't.
I think
I'm
the
happy for
problem
them.
is I think the problem is a lot of people who aren't religious just kind of want to pour on the people when they do find something. And I'm not talking about the ones that's using it as a crutch. Even when people who actually walk the walk, people still find ways to tear them down or try and speak negatively on them because they aren't doing the same things. I've literally seen, oh, you ain't fun no more. Like, so you also got to remember that people still talk down even when you are walking the walk. You can never please people, and you should never try to please people who don't follow a God or follow the way that you do. Don't worry about them. And I think people who shouldn't be worried about folks that do. Now, I think another problem is she says she's not religious in the video. Ultimately, why do you care?
She cares because these people who find Jesus at 35 years old are always too judgy of the people who they deem unholy, unrighteous, or doing wrong. You know, they judge people who do the same things they used to do. They act brand new. You feel me? They use God, they throw Jesus in everyone's face, even people who didn't ask for it. Every two sentences, they're trying to judge you of how you're not, a godly person, how, you won't see heaven if you don't act a certain way. You feel me? They do too much talking rather than actions. Now, Slimmy is right. There are people who actually do walk the walk, but that's the minority. Majority of people who find Jesus at a certain age act as if they didn't know all that bullshit when they were in the streets and doing whatever they wanted to do. You feel me?
Nobody's really throwing that shit in your face. Nobody like coming up to your door every day like, yo, you need to do this, you need to do that. 9 times out of 10, you probably might hear that shit like once. And then when they see they're not going to get to you, they're not going to say nothing to you about it no more. They're not going to constantly throw that shit in your face. But that's neither here nor there. Also, another thing is there are people who do this shit, but that's religion. That's not spirituality. Religion can be anything. Religion can be your gambling habit. Religion can be sports, see you on Sundays. Religion can be all type of things. It's just a practice, what you practice regularly. Spirituality is a totally different thing. Once people make a spiritual journey, once they start going on their spiritual journey, folks like to say that, oh man, you acting different, like I said earlier, and they don't want to accept the new person that they are. And they still want to hold on to the old person a lot of times. And they still, I'm not going to, I was going to
No,
use it.
I disagree with Slimmy because if you are on your spiritual journey, right, you find your awakening, I wouldn't expect you to continue hanging out with people who are not doing what you want to do. I would think you're not going to be associating with those people. Now, there are people on both sides who may, try to may not like the fact that you're a changed person. Yes, but in reality, usually the people who find the awakening try to come back to preach the word of God or to try to turn these people and tell them, hey, stop doing that, stop drinking, stop sleeping around and things like that. And they think if these people don't say yes to what they're saying, it's an issue. So they come off as too judgy. That's my opinion. I could be wrong.